Hello, my name is Tollman, and this is a little explanation slash demonstration video for the pixel shader on my Gumroad, assuming that's where you've come from. If that's not why you're here, the link for that is down in the description. Um, but there are a lot of things that I want to explain about how this works and some of the parameters and features on the material that should be known before you start messing with it. Let's start with the basic unlit pixel. This is what you get in the free package. Um, it's just unlit, solid color texture. You can put in a texture, you can set the color and it multiplies. The pixelation is it adjusts based on how close you are to the mesh's pivot point, which you can check by having this up here in pivot mode, and it will snap to wherever the pivot point is in the scene. For most characters, it's like at their feet, um, just because it was the one of the cheapest and also the one that produced the best results. Um, this pixelation number basically means the resolution of the pixelation when you are right up in front of it. Um, so this is about it's like 40 by 40 pixels is the way it works. This is not limited to whole numbers, but because of how pixels work, it looks better generally with 40 pixels. Though I won't stop you from doing 1.5 pixels. Um, it looks pretty good. Standstill in not in VR, but if you are using this in VR chat, I recommend putting it at a higher resolution. 60 will pass. Um, but 100 just generally looks good if you just want something to look a bit more pixelated. Um, this offset you should almost never have to touch. 0.15, this default works for most situations, but if you do have to use it, it is basically a slight offset of this distance from the origin point. Um, and it's set to 0.015 by default because that's usually about the distance from the origin point to the surface of whatever object you're looking at, because it's always centered and 3D objects have thickness. Um, for the normal cell shader, this is the multiply one. Every single one has an outline option that has an inverse full outline for all of the options. This is going into the advanced pack. Um, this is just a multiply. No, this is a multiply cell shader, which basically just means it gets darker in the shadowed areas. And you can offset with that with this value. 0.25 looks good on most characters. If you have a specific lit and unlit, or rather lit and shaded texture, there's also a shadow mask, which is the same system. Uh, this is good for very colorful, cartoony characters. A lot of people who know me from the Friday Night Funkin' scene, so a lot of those have some areas that are shaded and some areas that aren't, or shading that isn't just a darker version of the color. Um, it's like changed in saturation or hue. This is for that. This is the first of the tone shaders. This is the Game Boy one that I started testing out with. This is a 4-tone shader, meaning you give it 4 colors for each like darkness value, and then you can change at what value those start happening. Um, doesn't really make a lot of sense when I described it that way,
You can also have like an effectiveness of lights if you want, because like this is it without lighting and it looks pretty boring, which is why I have it on the 0.2. So it takes in a little bit of light, and I keep that on all of these tone shaders. Um, this is just if you want something to match a specific limited color palette, which is very cool to mess around with, like the CMYK Cartoon Network printer colors one, which is like 5 tone. As you see, that the number correlates to how many colors you have and how many clamped offsets you get. This one doesn't look very good on a lot of things, but these are just demo colors. You could look up a random uh, like color palette somewhere and make your own. These are just ones that I found and I thought looked interesting enough. Um, this one is the 3 tone, and then this one is the 2 tone. Very, very straightforward. Um, and then you can see the demo video on the Gumroad as well, of what it looks like on characters, where I show it off on my character model and the little dog that I have. Uh, Thank you and have fun.